onearvo. Good to see kids and mums and dads and families. Hey, I want to show you a couple of words that I've unscrambled. They're really simple words. They're just here. They say, but God. Really simple words, but they seem to change everything as we follow Jesus. These words are better than being in a dark room, but finding a torch that hopefully works. These words are better than being empty-handed on the toilet, but finding some toilet paper. These words are better than being in need or in help and listening and hearing this. Did you know these words, but God, are found in the Bible over 3,930 times? And yes, you believe it, someone actually spent time counting every single one. But God, some of the most simplest words, but words that are so important to the Bible. See, when there is no hope, when there is no out, but God. Well, think about it with me. Adam and Eve, they were out of the garden, but God made a promise to them. The world was flooding, but God remembered Noah. We were stuck in our sin, but God showed us how much He loved us and sent Jesus to rescue us. But God. So, onearvo, whatever is happening to you, remember these words. But God. God is for us, He is with us, and He is near. I want to read you a verse from the Bible. It comes from the Psalms. Psalm 73, verse 26. It says, "My flesh and heart may fail, but God is the strength of my heart." Hey, we're going to have a great time at onearvo thinking about Adam and Eve and how they were kicked out of the garden. But God, there is a better story and a wonderful way to remember our good Lord. We're going to have a great time singing, reading the Bible, thinking big about Jesus, as well as doing some wacky challenges and having a lot of fun along the way. We're so good and so glad that you're with us. The first thing you need to do, is to grab your Bibles. We're going to be doing this every week. Are you ready? Set, go.
No. Hi guys, didn't see you there. Welcome to onearvo. As you know, I'm Detective Emily, and we have lots of fun that we're going to have together today. Now, as you remember, last week we found out about how God created the world, and the world was very, very, very good. This week, however, we're going to be looking at a terrible, terrible lie. To start off today, we're going to play a fun little game that I've called the very important system, Hooray Emily, or VISH for short. The E is silent. Basically, in this game, we're going to be the leaders are going to tell you guys 2 truths and 1 lie, and it is up to you to work out what the lie is. Do you think you guys are up to the challenge? I think you are. Let's find out.
I'm left-handed, I've moved houses before, and my favourite colour is purple. The lie is, I'm left-handed. I actually write with my right hand and throw things with my right hand.
So, I've ridden on a bull in a rodeo, and I've ridden on an elephant at the zoo, and I've ridden on a dancing pony in the circus. So, which one do you think's the lie? Did you get it? The lie is that I have never been on a bull in a rodeo.
So it's my turn. Yeah, go on. I've eaten crocodile. I was born in Mauritius. And I've been to every state in Australia. Can you pick the lie? Well, the lie is I was born in Australia, not Mauritius. My parents were born in Mauritius. Got ya!
Guys, you did such an amazing job. How many did you get right? Well, I have one more for you before we move on to the Bible story. So can you tell which ones are the truth and which one is the lie? My 3 facts are, I am a twin, my name is Emily, and I moved house when I was 12. Which one's the truth? Which one's the lie? And the lie is, I'm not Emily.
I am. This is Charlotte, my twin,
And the best detective in the whole wide world.
the second best.
Did you catch our lie?
Today, in a true story from the Bible, one of the characters tells a lie to someone else. Can you see if you can spot it?
Dun dun dun!
Dun dun dun!
From Japan to Milan to Uzbekistan, all across the world, Jesus is the king. From Queensland to Greenland, way down in New Zealand, all across the world, Jesus is the king. Do you not know? Have you not heard? My God made the universe. Na 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 na. Have you not heard? Do you not know? He's the truth, the life, the only way to go. Na 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 na. From Japan to Milan to Uzbekistan, all across the world, Jesus is the king. From Queensland to Greenland, way down in New Zealand, all across the world, Jesus is the king. Do you not know? Have you not heard? My God made the universe. Na 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 na. Have you not heard? Do you not know? He's the truth, the life, the only way to go. Na 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 na. I said, hey, hey, what? Jesus is the king. Oh yeah. I said, hey, hey, what? Jesus is the king. Oh yeah. From Japan to Milan to Uzbekistan, all across the world, Jesus is the king. From Queensland to Greenland, way down in New Zealand,
all across the world.
Jesus is the king. From Queensland to Greenland, way down in New Zealand, all across the world, Jesus is. From Japan to Milan to Uzbekistan, all across the world, Jesus is the king. From Queensland to Greenland, way down in New Zealand, all across the world, Jesus is the king.
Hey onearvo, it's Julie here. How about you come and head up with me into the treehouse? I've got a story I'd like to read to you. Watch out for the clothesline. Up the ladder, into the treehouse. So, welcome to my treehouse. This is the view that I can see from up in my treehouse. It's pretty nice, isn't it? Alright, let's have a story together. This week's story comes from Genesis chapter 3, and it's called The Terrible Lie. Adam and Eve lived happily together in their beautiful new home, and everything was perfect. for a while, until the day when everything went wrong. God had a horrible enemy. His name was Satan. Satan had once been the most beautiful angel, but he didn't want to be just an angel. He wanted to be God. He grew proud and evil and full of hate, and God had to send him out of heaven. Satan was seething with anger and looking for a way to hurt God. He wanted to stop God's plan. Stop this love story right there. So he disguised himself as a snake and waited in the garden. Now, God had given Adam and Eve only one rule. Don't eat the fruit on that tree, God told them, because if you do, you'll think you know everything. You'll stop trusting me, and then death and sadness and tears will come. You see, God knew if they ate the fruit, they would think they didn't need him, and they would try to make themselves happy without him. But God knew there was no such thing as happiness without him, and life without him wouldn't be life at all. As soon as the snake saw his chance, he slithered silently up to Eve. "Does God really love you?" the serpent whispered. "If he does, why won't he let you eat the nice, juicy, delicious fruit? Poor you. Perhaps God doesn't want you to be happy." The snake's words hissed into her ears and sunk down deep into her heart like poison. Does God love me? Eve wondered. Suddenly, she didn't know anymore. "Just trust me," the serpent whispered. "You don't need God. One small taste, that's all, and you'll be happier than you could ever dream." Eve picked the fruit and ate some. And Adam ate some too. And a terrible lie came into the world. It would never leave. It would live on in every human heart, whispering to every one of God's children, "God doesn't love me." And it wasn't a dream. It was a nightmare. A dove flew from Adam's hand. A deer darted into the thicket. It was as if they were frightened by something. A chill was in the air. Something strange was happening. They had always been naked, but now they felt naked and wrong, and they didn't want anyone to see them, so they hid. Later that evening, as God was taking his walk, he called to them, "Children!" Usually Adam and Eve loved to hear God's voice and would run to him. But this time they ran away from him and hid in the shadows. "Where are you?" God called. "Hiding," Adam said. "We're afraid of you." "Did you eat the fruit I told you not to eat?" God asked them. Adam said, "Eve made me do it." "What have you done?" God asked. Eve said, "The serpent made me do it." And terrible pain came into God's heart. His children hadn't just broken the one rule. They had broken God's heart. They had broken their wonderful relationship with him, and now he knew everything else would break. God's creation would start to unravel and come undone and go wrong. From now on, everything would die, even though it was all supposed to last forever. You see, sin had come into God's perfect world, and it would never leave. God's children would always be running away from him and hiding in the dark. Their hearts would break now and never work properly again. God couldn't let his children live forever, not in such pain, not without him. There was only one way to protect them. You will have to leave the garden now, God told his children, his eyes filling with tears. This is no longer your true home. It's not the place for you anymore. But before they left the garden, God made clothes for his children to cover them. He gently clothed them, and then he sent them away on a long, long journey, out of the garden, out of their home. Well, in another story, it would all be over, and that would have been the end. But not in this story. God loved his children too much to let the story end there. Even though he knew he would suffer, God had a plan, a magnificent dream. One day he would get his children back. One day he would make their world their perfect home again. And one day he would wipe every tear from their eyes. You see, no matter what, in spite of everything, God would love his children with a never stopping, never giving up, unbreaking, always and forever love. And though they would forget him and run from him, deep in their hearts, God's children would miss him always and long for him. Lost children yearning for their home. Before they left the garden, God whispered a promise to Adam and Eve. It will not always be so. I will come to rescue you. And when I do, I'm going to do battle against the snake. I'll get rid of the sin and the dark and the sadness you let in here. I'm coming back for you. And he would. One day, God himself would come.
Did you notice in the story what happened when God came to find Adam and Eve after they'd sinned? Adam tried to blame Eve. Eve tried to blame the snake. Can you think of a time when you've tried to blame somebody else for something that you've done wrong?
onearvo. Today's memory verse is John 10:10. It tells us about the hope Jesus brings after the terrible lie we heard today in the story. John 10:10. The thief comes only to rob, kill, and destroy. I have come so that you may have life and have it to the fullest. Challenge is simple. You can follow along with me now, but I challenge you to do this in your own time later today or on the weekend with family and friends. This is how you do the challenge. Grab a pen and paper and write out John 10:10, leaving some gaps between the words. Now, in the gaps you've left, you want to draw pictures that remind you of the words. What was the second word? What was it? Thief. That's right. I think I can draw a thief. There's my thief. I hope you guys can draw better, because I'm not a very good drawer. Okay, the thief comes only to rob. What's that word? Kill. That's what the word is. That's my kill. I'm their artist. The thief comes only to rob, kill, and destroy. That's what the word is. I've drawn a brick breaking, but you can do anything you want. Feel free to just not do what I do. Alright, the thief comes only to rob, kill, and destroy. I've come so that you may have... what is it? Life. That's what it is. I think I'll draw a tree. Maybe some birds. That's my life. Alright, the thief comes only to rob, kill, and destroy. I've come so that you may have life and have it to the... what is it? Fullest. Yes. Okay, now I'm gonna try to draw a water glass that's full with water. I'm definitely no artist on that one. Hopefully you guys can come up with better ideas. That's my challenge for today.
Alright, guys, here is the time you have been waiting for. It is time for the Wacky Warrior Challenge. And this challenge is all about, well, it's kind of all about a snake, isn't it? We heard the story of the terrible lie and how the snake did that. But we also heard about the amazing promise. Do you remember it? Jesus, God himself, was going to tie up the snake. And so this week's Wacky Warrior Challenge is all about tying a knot in a snake. But it's not with your hands. Here's what you need to do. You need to put it into, you might want to stretch it first. And then you're going to put it in your mouth and tie a knot. I can't do it, so I'm just going to eat it. Now, if you don't have a snake like that at home, you can tie a knot in a shoelace or even a draw cord to remind you that Jesus' promise has been fulfilled. That Jesus has tied up the devil and he's twisted the terrible lie to an amazing truth where Jesus has rescued us from our sin. Now, as I'm still eating this, I was really a bit terrible. I thought it was going to go down a bit quicker. Let's see which leader from onearvo is going to do this wacky challenge of tying up a snake in their mouth. You ready? Come on. Now, before I do this, I want to let you know there's a bunch of prizes for the best entries that get put in. Let's see which leader is going to be doing it today. We have me, Emily, Daniel, Sam, Helen, Julie. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Callum, it's your turn. Tie up the snake, no hands, only your tongue. You ready? 1, 2, 3, go!
Can't do it. It's impossible. You guys have a try.
Well, onearvo, that's time for us for another week. We hope you've been encouraged thinking about these 2 special words. Do you remember them? But God. But God. Hey, just want to let you know, keep sending in your wacky challenges, your prayer challenges, your memory verse challenges, anything or any games you've been doing at home. We want to be building each other up as God's people and remembering that God has made a way for us to be united to Him and to each other. The best entries are going to get a prize. What does that mean? Well, we've actually got a trolley load of giveaways that we want to be building you and your family up as well. Don't believe me? Here's my trolley. And these are some of the cool stuff we have. We've got glow sticks, chalk packs, pens, high bounce balls, small bounce balls, all kinds of weird and wonderful things that we hope that we want to give to you as you remember but God and His goodness for me and you. We'll see you next week. God bless. Bye.